Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first episode of Updated, your weekly news show that has Minecraft in the background. So, yeah, this is the new show that I'm starting, where I just want to talk about the news, and it's just, I think I'm the only one going to be on this show. I won't have anyone with me. This will just me talk about what I feel about what's happened in the world, as in for news wise and other things like that. So there's been a lot of news recently, let's be honest. A hell of a lot of news. Won't, like I said, it'd be weekly, so whatever happened this week, it's just, and let me know. I will say this is being recorded on Saturday, the 1st of August, depending on when this gets released. I don't know if I release it today or tomorrow. But still, I hope you enjoy what's about to go down for next, I don't know how many episodes. Right, so we'll get into the news then. So the biggest one I want to talk about, because this is kind of came out in the last couple of hours, as of time of recording, is that Xbox has gone and said that the Halo Infinite multiplayer has gone free to play. My God, I needed to get this out there first because this kind of blew my mind about, oh my God, they're actually gonna do it. And yes, I should mention that there has people that are obviously online worrying about there's going to be so many microtransactions. There's going to be so many microtransactions. Don't worry. Yes, there's most likely going to be microtransactions. It is a free-to-play model. How else are they going to get the money at the end of the day? But with that in mind, this is still a Microsoft exclusive, so there's not going to be not as many as such things like if you look at Apex or PUBG, or even, let's be honest, even Rainbow Six Siege. They're all that last one, you kind of have to get pay in first, and then you got the microtransaction later, and the DLC and everything like that. Kind of realizing that Rainbow Six Siege is kind of a rip-off. Maybe next time, Reese, don't spend money in that game. Note to self. But no, it is. People are worrying, and of course they've got all right to worry, because let's be honest, Halo's never done a free-to-play model. And let's be honest, Microsoft, they do like their live service titles, but I think Halo 5 is kind of, like I said, 343 have done in their three games that they've basically announced and released. So Halo 4, Halo 5, and now Halo Infinite. Halo 4 had a lot of backlash because it had Sprint, but for me, I enjoyed it, and it was just fun to play around with. And I really enjoyed the story. The story was so emotional, and it was I really enjoyed Halo 4. And I think the hate towards that sort of thing was undeserved. Halo 5, however, yeah, they deserve most of the hate for the single player. The single player was absolute fucking trash. Usually I suggest people play, if you're new to Xbox, play the Halo series. But for this generation, I'd say stick with the Master Chief Collection, and that's it. I wouldn't. Oh, well, and of course play with Halo Wars and all that lot. But I'm usually talk about the main games itself, because there's, unlike me where I play a variety of games, and the Game Pass, that's why Game Pass is so great for me. I'll talk about that more later. But the whole point is that Halo 5 was just god-awful single player. But surprisingly, they had a very good Halo multiplayer that they kind of turned into an esports, which I actually at one point watched quite a bit. But now Apex took my life over from everything. Help me God. Help me, Father. But no, now Halo Infinite, for me, Halo Infinite looks good. Not just the fidelity, yeah, it's complete trash at the moment. But like I said, they actually released a statement recently on about the graphics of the game. So they've kind of split into two pieces. So yes, there is two halves to it. There's the art style, which I personally really fucking love, and they've even said like we're staying with it. No matter what, we're staying with it. We like our choice for this game, and I honestly respect the hell out of them for saying that, even though that there's a lot of hate behind it. But in that case, it's just I don't know. I like the idea that these developers can actually not have a bullshit statement of, "Oh, we apologize. Did you give us more money?" And we've seen that so many times before, even like more in the AAA publishers, EA, the likes of EA and Activision, and those sort of grimy bastards. We don't mean to upset you. But when this, like, the 343 came out and said, yeah, we want to stick with the art style, and maybe it's not your cup of tea, but for a hell of a lot of people, it is. Because let's be honest, Halo 5 was good looking, but that was really it. The gameplay was good. I as much as I was like saying, oh yeah, the Halo multiplayer was like perfect, it wasn't Halo though. It was very much something completely different, and I liked it for that. It was different, but it wasn't Halo, not at all. It felt way too fast paced for that. I'm coming from the days of Halo. I played Halo 2 multiplayer, even though I am like I play old games all the time, even like old multiplayer games. But still, I like playing this sort of stuff. Sorry, I'm going to a quick sip of drink. Oh, that's good. You like that? ASMR. Oh yeah. But no, going back to the actual subject before I get confused. Yeah, so it is going free to play. There is that worry of microtransactions, and even if you look at the likes of Halo 5, where they had the microtransaction / loot boxes, that was disgusting, by the way. Absolutely fucking disgusting, loot boxes are. So I was pissed off about them for that, because they are predatory. At the end of the day, no one can deny that. If you don't believe me, just watch any fucking video on the fucking internet. I swear, they can explain it 10 times better than I ever could. But I believe that this will be completely cosmetic DLC, and hopefully they bring back like Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3 bombers or whatever as like cosmetic DLCs, because let's be honest, me and plenty of other people would pay a decent amount of money for that sort of shit. But do I think it's a good idea? Now here's a real question. Do I think Halo Infinite going free to play is a good idea? At the moment, I do, unless they prove me wrong. Because I am worried, because like I said, we haven't seen gameplay yet. We haven't seen what the multiplayer would look like. We haven't seen any of the maps, any of the gameplay. What? Because technically, right, the gameplay for Halo 5 was revolved around the multiplayer, and then the single player came as like basically an afterthought, I swear. Well, what it felt to me. So in that case, it was, well, it wasn't, like I said, I don't see Halo 5 as a actual Halo game, let's be honest. But hey, what do I know? I play a lot of games. That's my personal opinion. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. That's the whole point of being a games person. I'm the random bloke on the internet talking about games. Let's be honest, and I've got my own personal preferences. But no, I should also. Oh, you alright? Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. I just had a quick interruption. Continuing on, I was mentioning about the fact that Halo had a statement from 343 saying that there was two things. There was the fidelity and the art style. And the art style, as I've mentioned beforehand, it was well, it was good. I liked them for that. And then the fidelity, of course, was the bugs and glitches and the texture pot pins that we saw during the background, and even like basic lighting and shadow versus all that sort of thing. And personally, I've got given big respects for that. We're saying that, well, yes, we do need to improve the game as we with all this technology in the background, especially as it's a brand new engine. And trust me, I've worked with, I think, 3 engines now. I've worked with Unity, I've worked with Unreal, and I've worked with CryEngine. My favourite, of course, at the moment is how easy Unreal can be at points. Unity is well, yeah. I won't go into about my game design because this isn't a show about me. This is a show about the news that's coming throughout the world. But it's also my thoughts and opinions on stuff, so there you go. But still, it's the 343 to have those big balls to say, right, we respect our art style, and this is what people like it. These people, because there are a small majority with loud voices, may I say, loud as shit voices, saying that, yeah, we don't like the art style, we don't like the fidelity. And I can understand if you didn't like the fidelity, but I don't understand how you could not like the art style. But I get fed up with those comments saying, oh, I want to start a war. Like, dude, don't. We're all gamers. We're all paying money for the games that we truly enjoy. That's why I always compliment games such as that comes on the PlayStation Store. While I personally won't likely to play them because PlayStation for me isn't that great. Games wise, yes, no one can deny that. Except for apparently the divide between The Last of Us 2 is yikes. But I won't touch on that subject because I haven't played it. If I haven't played the game, then I have no right in judging it. And then that could be the same thing. I will say that for most things. If you haven't played the game, you can't judge it. The gameplay is the most important thing, as well as the story. Those are the two important things. Art style can go out the fucking window, because I'm fed up of people saying, "Oh, this should be the next generation. We should be seeing what it looks like." I don't think people understand that this next generation isn't going to be the biggest of leaps. And I think that's what people want and expect. I have to tell them right now, you're going to be seriously disappointed. It's not going to be like the 6th, the 7th, or anything like that. It is going to be a bit disappointing if you're expecting the biggest leap of graphics there can be, because yes, the hardware is more powerful, but we've got to a point where our visuals are impressive enough. We should be focusing other than visual fidelity. Otherwise, it's not going to make a great game at the end of the day. I'd rather have a good gameplay than... I'd rather have bad shit graphics than bad gameplay or a bad story. I will mention that does this look good, yes or no, and most of the time it's like, yeah, it looks good. But I probably should leave this topic for... because we've literally spent like... I want to make this like an hour podcast, but I'm thinking... oh shit, this may be a lot longer. Because I've literally spent, about 15 minutes on just one topic alone. So, I've got loads of topics to talk about. Oh, you can probably hear my mouse trying to move from my phone. But yeah, I've got loads of topics coming in about. So, to give you a hint about what's to come, I should have done this at the beginning of the show, but I really wanted to talk about that free-to-play stuff with Halo. So, coming up, Moon Studios action... oh, fuck's sake, Reese, you're really fucking things up. Right, presenter voice. Moon Studios action RPG signed with Private Division. Xbox conference confirmed for August. Compulsion Games is moving into a new studio. A new look and details at the new Avengers game. Apex Legends' newest teaser in-game. People Can Fly, new game announced. Action-adventure title will also... Oh, sorry. I'll read this again. People Can Fly, new game announced. As well as a new side studio that we're working on. Splinter Cell Anime. That, and many, many more, such as the streaming schedule for the next week. So yeah. I'm happy with that voice. But no, we'll talk about our next topic. Should I say is Moon Studios action RPG with Private Division. Wow. Yes, I think we kind of knew that the Ori developers needed a new game. I think they've. Hold on, I need to check this up quickly. I'm kind of weirdly do this while recording, but I think Ori is their only game, to my knowledge. I will check if Moon Studios has any games in like that they've done before, but you never know. I may be wrong, may be right. Moon Studios. Tell me, Google. The holy Googles. Googler. Right. Do you have any other games except for Ori? You don't. I thought so, because I read up on the studio beforehand, and yeah, they were basically came from XDevs from a certain other company that I can't be bothered to read right now. But nah, I'm really looking forward to their sort of stuff, because the whole point of them is, I know I was complaining about like you don't have a shit game with like the fidelity and all that sort of stuff, but Moon Studios are spot on. They really, and I mean really give a shit about what their game looks like, graphics wise, because god damn, the Ori series is such a beautiful game. Not just story wise, but also in graphically. It is one of those things you compare the likes of like Disney, the old Disney animation, like these throughout time and I was about to say time and space, but throughout time itself, through animation wise, you've kind of got this like one mainstay, this one thing that no one else could possibly do. So throughout the 1920s, 50s, and all that sort of stuff, we had that Disney hand-drawn sort of animation that anyone could really enjoy. But then we got, like, in the early 2000s, we've got the Pixar, that 3D animation that looks perfectly well done. And now I feel for like the game side of it, we've got Moon Studios with their art style for Ori. I personally think if they didn't follow up, like if they didn't not copy, no, that sounds bad, but like if they didn't follow the same route that they did with Ori with the graphical styles, I think they should honestly stick with it with their new action. Is it the action RPG, isn't it? Which is a completely new genre for the studio, since they basically did like Metroidvania sort of stuff. By the way, most of my sources come from like the proper sources, so this is a message from not only just from Private Division, which they said that we've got three other games, and this is the one I was more concentrating on. Like, this is what I want out of them. But yeah, it's been nice to get all this sort of stuff from the. I'd like to see what they can do with role playing, because they did really well with a genre that I really did not give a shit about, if I'm completely honest. But still, action RPGs are definitely up my road. But we don't know much about what the game might look like or what actual gameplay details are. We just know that they've just signed a deal with Private Division, which actually, if you think they've done all right with most games. They kind of they're like Microsoft for AA games. Surprisingly, even though it's technically an umbrella corporation of they're part of 2K, and we all know 2K is a bunch of fucking twats. Who started the conversation was, should should the next generation have $70 instead of $60 or something like that? So that for like British terms, it would be like 65 quid or something. Still, that's not right. That's not right at all. Because we kind of had an inflation, right? If I think this was like 3.6, they're saying, oh, well, the inflation hasn't gone up. For us in Britain, it definitely had, because I think throughout the 360 era, it was £30 for us, and then we go into the next generation, and suddenly it's £60, and it's like, cool. I used to buy shit from fucking Tesco, and now I've got to pay double the price. So yes, it has gone up. My honest opinion is yes. Just people just don't want to admit that that's happened. God damn it. Yeah, I even remember paying for like Mass Effect 3, which only cost like 30 odd quid. But I enjoyed, by the way. It was overreacting to the ending. Let me just say that right now. But no. I'm looking forward to whatever the developers of Moon Studios do. And especially as this is great for their company. They can flex saying, alright, I want them to do more genres. It's like, I've always said this about loads of different developers. I personally think they should be able to flex and say, right, we're going to do a new genre this week. Or this year, should I mention. Or this project. So, I personally believe that doing the same thing over and over, that's such as like doing like Call of Duty or something like that. It just, you get bored of it. Personally, I don't like Call of Duty because it does the same thing every year without innovating enough on it. I have this argument with loads of people, and they say, "Oh, why did I don't understand? Halo doesn't change that much." I'm like, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Look between Halo 4 to Halo 5. Look between Halo 3 to Halo 4. I'm like, no, it hasn't changed that much. It's like, right, first of all, if you're looking back, right, if we're looking at it right now, here we go. Here's my rant of the of the podcast. Hey, Call of Duty, has it changed? Yes, it's changed ever so slightly. Like, I even get like complaints saying that, well, you know, if you look at Advanced Warfare to Modern Warfare, like, yes, that is a big change, and I that is a good thing, sort of, I guess. But then you gotta look at like they're saying, oh yeah, look at between Infinite Warfare and this, and like they just went back and they basically redid everything. The only thing they changed is the engine. Cool. Then they're gonna make another fucking Modern Warfare again. Let's be honest. I just let's probably not get back into this because I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. But no. So with that in mind, we'll probably go into the next subject. But if you enjoyed like this sort of stuff, it would really help me out if you liked and subscribed. I'll say it at the end as well. But still, there's another big, well, sort of big news. I think it was on iJustine's podcast. They had Phil Spencer on, and they said like they talked about many different things, like what their favourite game about the whole conference was, and everything like that. But I was watching it, and we kind of got confirmation from Phil Spencer himself. Said we've got more planned in August. So, what I'm kind of getting out of this is that Microsoft has become the new Ubisoft with how leaky it really is, because we kind of knew there was a thing happening in August anyway. And Fable was like, it's been rumoured for years, and let's be honest, when there's many rumours, it's going to come true at the end of the day. But no, it truly is a leaky company. I fucking pissed myself laughing over it. But I have expectations. I will make another wish list about August, but there's going to be a much smaller video and much more concise, because you can't ask for games, but I can't. No, in fact, I'm hoping I'm asking for. There's a wish list I've got in mind at the moment where I'm thinking there's not many games on it, but there is expectations where I like more about the console. Like, first of all, I'm gonna have a huge run throughout this throughout the entire video saying like I've got this whole plan where I want to talk about how it's kind of bullshit where we kind of had the release date. If you look at the Xbox One and like the 360, we got those at E3 instantly. We had months to prepare for them and the price point. We're at August now. What if they plan to release in November, right? And we've heard that this will be again at end of August. So we've got, let's say we've got September, October, November. We've got 3 months. That is not enough time for people, even during a pandemic, to plan their financially going like, here we go, right, I'm going to buy a console for Christmas. And it's like, this is probably the worst year you could possibly do it to not announce it before, like, for a couple of months. So in that regard, I kind of feel Microsoft and PlayStation kind of fucked up in that reserve. PlayStation isn't any better. They've announced their consoles, of course. That's great. What's the price point for both their consoles? When's it going to be released? And worst of all, I know when Xbox plans to release their next thing. It's going to be end of November. That's what they've always done. PlayStation's all over the fucking place. If I remember correctly, PlayStation 4 came out in something like November. Then PlayStation 3 came out in October. PlayStation 2 came up in September. And I don't know about PlayStation 1. I haven't looked into that. But still, for PlayStation fans, it's like, what do we do? How do we plan for this? How do you plan for a crisis almost? And yes, I know PlayStation was saying like, oh, we don't expect as many people to buy into our console straight away. Don't say that. That just tells me you've got no confidence in yourself to be able to sell this sort of stuff. Even, yes, it is a pandemic and it's scary as fuck, but you got to have confidence in your product. The one thing you've got to do, and one of the mistakes they kind of made during the PS3 era, was not having confidence. PS4, yeah, they got fuck tons. They made their players kind of say, yeah, we'll buy a PlayStation 4, and well-heartedly. Xbox One kind of sucked at launch. No, it didn't kind of suck. It was fucking shit. Even I can admit, I'm a PlayStation. I'm an Xbox fanboy. I am far from a PlayStation fanboy. Oof. But it's just one of those things. I want competition. Of course I want competition. I also want people to win. Gamers to win. And that's why I kind of think, yes, it's great that we're all getting these, like, you want to stick to your usual thing of, like, exclusives, but there can be an argument saying, is exclusives anti-consumer? Because you're restricting the people from buying it from on other consoles and playing that game, and then inevitably you earning less money. I don't know. I don't. That's for just topic maybe for like another day or something. But maybe I'm like a live stream where I'm just feeling like, oh, I'm gonna chit chat all day. If I could get my fucking camera working again. Oh, that pissed me off. Oh well, I'll get a new one, I think. But no, I'm looking forward to the Xbox event because I've got many I want to say, but I want to talk about my mind. I want to say what I want out of it. As an Xbox fan, I want to say what goes into the products. Come on, give me a say. Come on. And plus, who wouldn't love to see Phil Spencer there? I'm pretty sure if you're an Xbox fanboy, you've kind of got like a man crush or just a crush if you're into that sort of stuff. That's bad. But you know what I mean. It's one of those things where anyone could admire Phil Spencer for what he's doing. He's a developer at heart. That's one thing I found out as well recently. Like, he started out as a developer, but oh, that makes so much more sense. It's like Normal people would be like, no, we're just gonna, as publishers, would be like, yeah, no, we're gonna do the same thing. It's safe. We're gonna do this. And like Phil Spencer came in and went, no, playing safe. We didn't get anything right last time, so we're gonna do everything different. That's you can't deny it. You can't not respect that. You can't also not respect the fact that they used a tradition for like PlayStation. But this is more of an Xbox podcast than anything else because I like talking about Xbox stuff. This isn't just exclusively Xbox. Let me just say that this isn't. I'm not trying to dunk on anything, but this will be me going through the news of the week and saying my opinions and stuff, things that interest me. Not to make everything about me, but I hope you enjoy my feelings on this, and I hope you agree or disagree. I'd love to know. That's the one thing about this. I kind of created this podcast because I wanted to get everyone's opinions on stuff. Of course, we're gonna get like I may have talked about this earlier, where I thought, oh, do I want guests on this podcast? Do I want people to come on here give their opinions? Of course I do, but I have trouble to find people where they won't do like that. They won't just concentrate on the podcast itself. We kind of had a trouble with the last channel, Anarchy Games, trying to get everyone to say like, "Come on, get a grip. Don't put music on the background. That doesn't help, does it?" But I'm sure we'll get a few people on just to get their ideas on stuff. I know we're probably going to do a whole thing like Nintendo at one time, because Nintendo, I love them to pieces. I really do. I've owned most of their consoles except for the Wii U that my sister got for herself, and then even she admits it was kind of a shit purchase, except for what she likes to play occasionally. What's it called? It's about Inklings or whatever they're called. You know what I mean? That game where you just spray paint everywhere. But this is, like I said, I've talked about this earlier. I wanted this. This is kind of a thought into my mind process. I want to talk about games. I want to talk about what's going on with the channel itself. This isn't. I don't want to say this is a me podcast. This is hopefully what you come for. This is what my opinions are, and hopefully you can resonate with them, because that's what I want to do with this channel. I want, as much as we've got plans for like stuff for other channels you can look at. For example, we've still got in mind for the Luscious Lads. Oh, he just went right to the face. We've still got Luscious Lads inbound. Really, we've got a new rebrand, should I say? So we've got the intro, we've got all that sort of stuff. We've got amazing people on the line. We've got just creating this sort of stuff. We've got Elgato's coming in, so we can actually record and all this sort of stuff. I'm still going to live stream daily. It just means that you just have to follow me on SlothGamer12, and I will update you on anything that needs to be said. But I hope you enjoy. I hope you take me up on this journey of let's find a way to create videos for you to enjoy, because that's all I really want to do, for you to enjoy the games at hand. Alright, enough about me rambling yet again. Well, this is a podcast, so I can ramble all I like. Ha ha! On to the next subject. Compulsion Games is moving into a new studio. Yeah, so the one thing I would say about Compulsion Games, they made stuff like We Happy Few, which was people were alright with, all things considered. It was supposed to be this next like BioShock-esque event sort of thing, where everyone was like, oh, this is going to change the story basis around everything. Like, no, it didn't, sadly. It didn't have the same impact, didn't have the same story, didn't have everything like that. It had similar feels when we first went into it, but sadly it did not succeed. But oh well. But they also created Contrast, which was a smaller game. I've played We Happy Few. Wasn't a big fan of it because it was very basic almost for a survival-esque game. But from what I can tell, of course they talked about like, oh sorry, I'm just getting up a thing now just to know that I've got the right thing going on. Right thing going on. We're just getting a page up saying as much information I can give to you right now. So I should have done this beforehand, but fuck it, right? You've got Minecraft in the background just to keep you entertained for while I stop speaking. That's why I wanted it. Compulsion Games, right? Yes. Yeah. So it's expanding from. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. So they are moving from Montreal to Westmount, wherever that is. So it's clearly in like Canada. So at the moment, it's holding about 60 developers. They're hoping to improve it to 90 developers and up to including 120 developers for just this one studio, I remind you. So they're hopefully taking up to 18 months to expand to about 90, and they're probably going to take about another 18 months to expand to 120. That's their plans. And of course, this is probably going into their next generation plans. Because we didn't see any new games announced for them at the moment. But then again, I think it was up until about last year that they finished up with We Happy Few. So, I know... So, if we say, May, they fully started on their next project, then we should expect a new game, roughly. They take about... Weirdly enough, they're quite a good developer in that reserve. So I'm thinking the next game we could probably see is a 2022 release date. But so that means next year we could, as in like 2021, we could see something from Compulsion Games. Which I was kind of hoping to see from Compulsion, but let's be honest, I don't think any of us really expected that sort of stuff. Undead Labs was not expecting and certainly was not happy about that sort of stuff in the Microsoft conference. State of Decay 3, I'm still undecided about that, so just give me time, I'm sure I'll get over it. But it's good in a way, because they kind of create, I think Compulsion Games create these amazing games that they're good in their own right, in a way. They've got amazing art styles, they're so amazingly unique, and that's what Microsoft kind of did for them. They said, right, this is the game we want to create, and they said, all right, sit down. They're gonna put full production when the last DLC ends, which was like I said, it was last year. So they're now officially in full production, but they've been in pre-production for roughly 2 years now. If I was to have a gander about everything. Or even not, if they've had like pre-production before that, maybe they've been in pre-production for about 3 or 4 years now, starting on work before releasing the We Happy Few. You never know. I would have to check, but we have no information about their new game. First of all, I'm hoping it's not a fucking RPG, because I've kind of figured out that maybe we've got quite a few RPGs to unhame now. We've got Avowed. We've got inXile's next game, which is going to be a new RPG. We've even got inXile's next game releasing on August 28th, which is Wasteland 3. There you go, Riz. And we've got there's so many other deals, RPGs in the pipeline that I thought, oh yeah, we've got enough. But that's the great thing about Xbox. They kind of said, right, let's create as many different genres instead of sticking to the same thing. And that's why I have a big complaint about PlayStation creating the same game over and over. Even I have the same plan. I will say the same thing about Ubisoft. They had that problem. But then again, I'm like, I have my moments where I thought, oh, I want to play this game because fuck it. I don't care. Give me a game. That's probably what most PlayStation fans is. It's maybe the same game, but god damn, it's so good I don't want to play it over again. But Watch Dogs Legion looks more different than like the second version, so I'm gonna say that's my excuse. even Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Right, no, I've got loyalty to Assassin's Creed, except for Unity. I despise that game. I absolutely despise it with a passion. I want to kill it, burn it with fire. But going back to Compulsion Games, what do I expect out of them? Should I say, sorry. What I expect out of them is a unique game. I want them, because they've tried all these different. They've tried an action open world. Their action survival game, should I say? Fucking me up the arse. I think they should work on something else, and they've also worked on Contrast, with the side-scrolling action game. So it's kind of hard to pin them to say this is what you need to do. This needs to be made. So I don't know about them. Maybe if they wanted to focus on survival elements. No, I've already got Grounded Survival as a survival game, which is very, very good. If you haven't watched the live stream, I know I've got no face cam and that's not technically my fault, but meh. But with Compulsion Games, you can't really put them in the corner. Not really. They've kind of created loads of different stuff. So in that case, I'm expecting something they're most likely never done before, a new genre. So if I was to have a guess, they've done open world, they've done linear, so there's got to be something else then. I'm going to say they're going back to linear, and I'm going to say that they are going to do what, Trees? What are they going to do? Make it up. Fuck it, they're going to make a first-person shooter. They've never done that. They've been first-person before, true. But with that experience, I'm hoping they make a cool linear. Linear. They've done open world. The last one, let's try linear. First-person linear action game. But we've got to have action there, because at the end of the day, that's the most common. That's the most commonality between both of their games. But then again, my Xbox must have saw something that they said, yeah, we're going to buy them for this particular game. I don't know. We'll see. We'll certainly see. So moving on to the next topic, which I again have to open my phone up again. No, that's the website. Oh yes. So the new Avengers panel-like thing kind of opened up, and I watched bits of it, like trying to get the highlights of it. So they showed off a bit of campaign, and they showed off a few cosmetic sort of stuff. The campaign, right, I know everyone complains about it, saying that this campaign looks awful, dog shit, and all that other stuff. And I personally think it's alright. I think it's going to be a good Avengers title for an Avengers game. I'm not saying it's going to be the best game ever made, because I don't think it will be. And I'm not saying that it looks bad, because it doesn't. And I know I've seen people online say, "Oh, it looks bad, doesn't it?" I'm like, no, it doesn't. It just doesn't seem like. If we compare it to like the MCU is monumental for the film industry. I think that's what expectations were for like this Avengers game. We wanted something monumental, and they delivered that harshly. They kind of said it's like going up to. I think this is the best way to describe it. Was like, this is the Spider-Man of the original Spider-Man trilogy of video games. I'm sure if they revised everything, like they took Spider-Man away from Sony, please do, by the way, so that I can play on Xbox. But if they took, alright, let's say they keep Spider-Man for the PS4, and they say like they said, they're going to create a movie universe and create a game universe. If Disney sat down and said, right, we're going to create a brand new section for their of games, I think that's what they probably should have done. They should have created like a whole studios dedicated to creating Marvel games instead of going, right, here we go, here's a bit of this, here's a bit of that, here's a bit of this, here's a bit of that, because every studio is going to be different. But I don't know. I personally believe that Disney's fucking up with most of their licenses, not just with Marvel. I believe that if you need to do something right, you have to do it yourself. If you look at like the likes of it, with what they should have done was that, like I said, they created their own studios, said to each and every one of them which one wants this. So who wants the Iron Man game? All right, you can do that, but the story has to be like this, this, is that. You need someone like what's his name? He was the head of Marvel. I can't remember his name, but you know what I mean. The one that just says, right, this is the next movie in the sequence and all that. We need that for games, and we don't have that at the moment. We don't have anyone that's kind of not qualified, more ambitious enough to say, right, this is what I want out of the MCU game series. And whilst we have that for, I'm going to say Jeff Loeb. No, that's the TV, isn't it? Ugh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the bloke. But we need that for games. We need that one person to say, right, we want to create a Black Panther game. Brilliant. Go on, make it. And we got to make it like its own universe so you can tell more stories within it. But like you just got to say, here we go, here's what you can expect out of our Marvel games. And we also wanted the thing to be open world. The Avengers, going back to the Avengers game, we wanted it to say, or at least I wanted it to be, where we can explore a place where possibly we've never been before. Not really. We've got the likes of LA being explored at the moment, I think it is. I don't know. I'm really bad with names and places, so you will have to excuse me for that. But with that in mind, I think everyone had a vision of what the Avengers game would look like. Did it live up to that? No, far from it. It looked alright. I keep saying that it looks alright. It looks alright, but that's all it is. It looks alright. Expectations should have been managed properly. In fact, no, fuck expectations. Fuck all of that. You should have created a better game. You should have blown us out of the water. This is the studio that created the likes of Rise of the Tomb Raider. No, let's not go there. To the rebooted Tomb Raider series, except for Rise of the Tomb Raider, that was made by a different studio. But it was alright. It was alright. I expect more from this developer who's proven to me saying that we can do it. We can create these amazing games. But I think the problem was that this person that was head of of these projects, they kind of move over to the initiative, and it's like, okay, right, this is not what I expected, not what my really wanted, because you kind of need, my mind is being blown at the moment. Because if you think about it like this, DC have had god awful movies this last couple of years. The last great movie coming out of them was The Dark Knight Rises. That's from Christopher Nolan. And even to this day, I fucking love it. I still watch it every so often. And that's rare for me to rewatch a movie. Or even a TV series. But still, that's entranced me to say that this. I think The Dark Knight is one of my favourite movies of all time. But they've had god-awful movies, but on the games front, they've had bloody amazing ones. We've had the Arkham series, we've had the likes of... I know that there's tons of fans for, what's it called? Injustice series. I know people love that. And in fact, there's rumours speculating that there's Injustice 3 in the works from NetherRealms. But still, we that's what we kind of expected out of Marvel. We expected the same kind of talent saying that, oh, right, why, if DC got this amazing stuff about them, why couldn't Marvel? Why couldn't they blow us out of the water? We got blown out of the water by the Arkham games. Oh, Arkham, please come back to us. But we never got that with the Marvel. We kind of got shitty, crappy games. And even like when the amazing MCU first started coming out, we had these god awful games made by the same company, dealing little to no games for the MCU. I just think Marvel's kind of been screwed out of that sort of stuff. But we'll see. I haven't played the game yet. I don't know one's really played the game at the moment. So we'll see if the game itself is any good. On to our next subject. Shall we? Ooh, my Amazon delivery is out for 3 o'clock. I haven't even ordered one, but you know. Right, this one's been quite a short one because there's not much to say. There's a few teasers at the moment for the Apex Legends next season. Right. I'm only sighing because I'm looking forward to season 6 massively, and I really like the teasers. It just means for me that I've got to do an honest impressions of season 5 overall. So the changes coming from the initial season 5 thing and throughout the entire thing, like the bugs, the everything, and I really don't like script writing because it just drives me up the wall. But no, right, here's what the initial teasers are. So there's 2 stages at the moment. So this is what I've got information from Twitter from a specific leaker. No, data mine, I should say. So there's 6 stages, so this is week 1. So again, this will be a 6-week of like, oh, here we go. Here's what we've got in store. That can't be right. I must be going mad. I'll have to check this up because I'm pretty sure it's like the likes of it's got 22 days and that's about 3 weeks. So I've been told anyway that it's been about 6. There's about 6 weeks worth of leaking about, and this is from a specific Structal, his name is, and he's told us that yes, we've got stuff coming this week, which was the rocket boosters near the trains area. We've got signs going about near other areas. So yeah. So we've got 6 phases. Each one looks like a week in between. Yeah, so that is very confusing to me. Oh no, I'm an idiot. There's multiple days where... okay. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Because I was looking at this as because times are different. Right, the next tease is supposedly tomorrow. Ooh. So when the time of recording this is like the 1st of August, but tomorrow is the next tease. So and the next one after that is the 5th, the 8th, and 11th. Ooh, I can't wait for the next teaser then. So the 11th one's that. This is roughly about 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks on Tuesday. Ooh, maybe that when the trailer might be announced. So of course, if you're looking forward to it, I'm certainly am. So it's like every 3 days. Then there's like a new thing about being announced. So get excited for that. So technically, like I said, the new crane area, which looks like it's got what we've been told is a thruster engine almost. And then we've got signs around near some areas saying like, "Oh, this is where new construction is going to begin." And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm just inquiring what we could possibly see out of it. Everyone's speculating that we're not getting the new map this season. That we're actually just getting map changes. I'm thinking that seems to me so weird because, like I said, the story-wise, they said, "Oh, we're going to go to Promethea," and then they got other people saying, "Oh, no, they pushed it back, didn't they? Because of the pandemic and all that sort of like." Again, that doesn't make sense because they planned this years upon years upon years. So why would they push it back if they've got all these plans? I don't get it personally, especially as they've got a big studio now behind them, a bigger studio, an entire studio, in fact. I don't understand why would they even try to do that. But maybe here's a big speculation, and I know I've heard this from a few people, and I personally, this is the closest thing I can say is, yeah, this could possibly come true. We're getting a new map and map changes, which is very weird for me to say that because it seems so much work, especially during the pandemic, especially as, let's be honest, they've kind of come into bad press about overworking their employees, and they said at the beginning, we're not going to overwork them. And they are, but this is, right, I can understand why they said it at the beginning, because they weren't going to. In fact, the only reason why they're overworking them at the moment, because they've got the same deadlines as they are for like the likes of like before the pandemic. I struggled right there for about 5 fucking seconds. But still, it's one of those things you've got to realise that because we're not in an office environment and we've got kids to take care of, we've got all this sort of stuff. Well, I personally don't have any kids, but I'm sure developers do. Because we're in a different environment, we kind of do less work. And I think, I don't know. I know they said they weren't going to do this, but I personally believe that if they need time to push it back, go right ahead. I really wouldn't give a shit if they didn't give us anything for about a month or so. Yes, the player base would have gone down, but they would have gone straight back up when the new season releases. But I think EA is like, no, we won't push it any further. We won't do that. Like, no offense, but you should do that. Do it now. Do it. But like I said, it's a short topic, so we're going on to our last topic. We have... Oh, let me get up my phone again. So unprofessional, but like I said, this is the first episode of Updated. I have a slogan with it. It's how sad I am. Well, yeah, on to our last topic. It's kind of a big one, because People Can Fly, the developers behind the next gen game, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like this third person Destiny-esque sort of shit. But yeah, People Can Fly is actually working on another game. I'm pretty sure they haven't even completed their first game yet. But they're opening up a side studio alongside of it, which is very exciting to see on their part. Because as much as this is kind of smaller news, I like to speculate about what they can do, because again, they've got like Compulsion Games. They're all over the place. They've worked on third-person shooters. They've worked on first-person. They've worked on RPGs in the past. They've even worked on like side projects. They've been a helper studio before. So in that case, now that they're making their own games, they're going to different publishers. What can we expect out of their next game? So they've told us little bits and pieces. This is a action adventure open world game. So they've kind of, I think, for the game they're currently making at the moment, like I said, it's Destiny, but it's a first person shooter but with open area. It's not open world, open area. That's what I would say. But so with this, it kind of speculates that, alright, once they did that once they've completed this game that they're about to release, I still can't remember the fucking name of it. Yeah, you should get very excited for this sort of stuff. I'll be interested to see what they do with open world wise, because it is completely different to open areas, because you've got these stages where you can go, right, here's the boundaries and this is what I want to create for this area. With open world, you've got nothing to hide behind. You've got if you want to change the biome, you've got to do it in the most natural way, and I'll be interested to see how well they actually do with the open areas, open world, should I say. Because People Can Fly is actually a very talented studio. Well, I honestly prefer if they actually worked on the likes of something like I don't know, Bulletstorm 2 perhaps. Come on, you bastards, make that bloody game. Or at least whoever's got the rights to it now. I think Gearbox, of all fucking publishers, have now got it. They've become a rising star of hate now. They've made Borderlands and now they're just ruining stuff. I just don't understand them anymore. They are the worst company. I don't think I could ever work for them, personally. Many of their beliefs are just so bullshit and just so disgusting to look at from afar. I feel bad for the developers even, because there are many people talented in Gearbox that want to create the next Borderlands, and that's why they're there, or their next big game for Gearbox, because they grew up on the likes of Half-Life, or even like I said earlier. In fact, I keep repeating Borderlands because it's one of the most well-known titles. So to look at this, it's just, I don't know. I think Gearbox really needs to get their ass to get in gear. I don't know who I'm going back to People Can Fly. I don't know if they found a publisher or something. I haven't checked that far. I presume they have. I'm hoping it's Microsoft, because they're very good about publishing sort of stuff. Even in-house studios, I'm like, all right, this is a pretty good idea. But let's be honest. I don't think the likes of EA or Activision would even have the balls to if Obsidian came up to them and say, right, this is what we plan to publish Grounded. They wouldn't have the fucking balls, and then if they did, there would be so many microtransactions that they'd be like, it would be not worth it. But it would, in fact, I bet if they had their money little grubbing hands on it, they would create fucking a mobile title. That's what the game would be if they created Grounded. Ugh, fuck those guys. But no, People Can Fly is a very talented studio, and I can't wait. Just went way too close to the mic then. I can't wait to see what they've been creating. So yeah, this has gone quite on. It's been quite a long episode. In fact, it's probably a lot longer than I hoped it would be. I know I hoped it for an hour, but I'm thinking it's probably gone past an hour, and we still haven't done streaming schedule / what was the big games of the last week. So should we get into this then? So as I was saying, we've got the stream schedule. There won't be any live streams for Monday. Oh, not that I know of, because I've got stuff to do about that time. But if I do, let's say, just in case I do come back, and it is about 3 o'clock when I come back, this will be the streaming schedule. So it's unlikely that, what I'm trying to say, that it's unlikely that I'm going to have a Monday schedule. But if I do, it will be Destroy All Humans Part 3. Tuesday, was definitely, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is definitely happening. So Tuesday is another Grounded one. On to the test continues is what I've named the title. And of course Wednesday is Destroy All Humans Part 4. Thursday we go back to Apex, where we go hunting for teasers. Friday is of course probably the conclusion to Destroy All Humans Part 5. So yes, this is going on for about an hour now, as I mentioned beforehand. So I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Updated, because officially you've been updated on all news of the week. Oh yeah, so classy. But yeah, it would really help me out if you could like and subscribe to this video. If you enjoyed this as a new series, me rambling on, especially live streams with different types of gameplay in it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna call it here. This has been episode 1 of Updated, and I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.